Hello everyone, welcome to the Coven. My name is Angel, and today we are going to be looking at my childhood paranormal and psychic experiences. Now, this is my third time trying to record this because stuff keeps trying to go wrong while I'm filming this. So I'm going to insert a little clip of the first time I tried to film this because I accidentally filmed it in the wrong resolution and it's super wide for some reason. It's really funny. And I also caught a knock on camera in my back room over here while I was filming this, just completely distracted me from what I was doing. So I'll include that clip right after this one. Things that you fill out. That was a big knock. I don't know if that picked up on camera. What was that? Hello? I always hear knocks in that room. That's weird. Is someone there? I guess not. I always hear like someone knock on that wall. That's so weird. But yes, today we're going to be looking at my childhood paranormal and psychic experiences. But first, I want to show you my outfit because I'm really proud of this outfit. This top my stepmom got me for my birthday, which was just a couple days ago. But yeah, I've got the falling in reverse shirt. I've got this nice little lace skirt from Trip NYC that has these cute little chain suspenders and chain that goes down the middle here. And my trusty checkered belt that I wear with almost every outfit because it is a staple. You gotta have it. Oh, and I have these bat tights. I almost fell over. I have the bat tights. They have little bats and little moons on them. Come here, kitty. Come here, kitty. Come here. You want to say hi? Come here, you want to say hi to the viewers? Come on. Come say hi. The child has come to say hello to you guys. This is Lila. Can you say hello? We will be getting started. The first story that I'm going to be telling you guys happened when I was about, I would say 3 years old or something like that, like somewhere around 3 to 5, probably closer to 3 if I had to guess. This story my mom told me because I can't remember that far back. Like, I can't really remember anything from when I was 3 years old because I was just a baby, basically. So she told me these stories, which was awesome. Thank you, Mom, for telling me these and letting me tell these on my channel. But yeah, this is what I did when I was a creepy little kid. So this happened at my childhood home, the first home that I ever lived in. Basically, at this house, we had a neighbor that would come over and help us take care of the property. He was just super nice and he wanted to help us out and help take care of the property and like help us with the trees and the mowing the lawn, because he owned the property that we were staying on. He was basically our landlord, but he was also really cool and like cleaned up the place for us and helped us out, which was awesome. Like, they gave us a place to live that was awesome. Like, it was a really cool house now that I look back on like photos of it and stuff, because I obviously don't remember because I was too young back then, but they were honestly so nice. I would watch them as they went around and like trimmed the trees and did work in the yard. But then one day, sadly, he passed away because he was older. I don't know exactly what caused his death, but he passed away, and my parents were, of course, very sad that he passed away, but they were like, hey, we probably shouldn't tell Angel because she's pretty young, and she doesn't understand the concept of death yet. So they didn't explain to me that he was dead. They didn't explain that to me. And then one day, probably about a month after he'd passed away, my mom and I were sitting on the bed in my room. I was like on the bed playing with my toys, and she was watching me play with my toys. And then I looked down the hallway and I turned to my mom and said, Mom, who's that man standing in the hallway? And my mom was obviously very concerned about this because my dad was not home and there shouldn't have been anyone else in the household other than me and her. So she immediately ran to the hallway and looked to see if anyone was there. Nobody was there. She ran around like the entire house making sure nobody was here, just to like be sure that nobody was in the house, because obviously anyone that would have been in there was not supposed to be in there, so she was very worried about it. And then after she made sure that nobody was actually in the house physically, she came over to me and asked me what the man that I saw looked like. I explained to her that I saw an old man wearing work clothes that were kind of formal, short gray hair, and he was smiling. And my mom was like, okay, this sounds like the neighbor, what the neighbor looked like that had passed away. So she didn't mention anything else to me. She went to my dad later that night and was like, hey, so this happened earlier and I don't know what to think about it. And she explained to him that I had seen what seems to be my neighbor that had passed away. And my dad was like, huh, that's weird. So they both decided that they wouldn't try to talk to me about it anymore, because they were like, okay, she'll probably grow out of it. This is probably a one-time experience that she'll have, because experiences with the paranormal don't happen that often. So they figure, okay, it's just this one-time thing. Like, we'll let it go and everything will be fine. She'll grow out of it. But then pretty soon after that, my mom would be going around the house taking pictures of things because she got a new photo camera that she was very excited about, and she would like take pictures of me playing. So she was going to take this picture of me running down the hallway, and in the picture there are two little orbs of light just floating around me. And she looked at the picture and was like, huh, that doesn't really make sense. Why would orbs of light be in a dark hallway? Because obviously, if it was by a window, like where there's a source of light to reflect off of, then yeah, it could have probably been just the light from the window reflecting off of the camera lens. But in this case, there was no light to reflect. So it was like, okay, what is it then? Because why would an orb of light appear in a photo taken of a dark hallway? So she went and showed my dad, and my dad was like, that's kind of weird. Like, that's kind of strange, just a little bit. And then about probably a few months after that, my mom had taken another picture. She took a picture of me sitting in front of the TV, and I'm sitting in front of the TV facing the camera, and behind me you can see like 5 or 6 of these little orbs, these little colorful orbs. Like some are blue, some are yellow, just like floating around me. And she showed me the picture before, and it's honestly so cool. If I can find these pictures, I'll include them right after this clip so you guys can see. I'd love to include stuff like that so you guys can see that this is actually, like, this actually happened and I'm not just crazy. My next story that I have to tell you about was one day where I was sitting in front of the television in the living room with my back turned to the TV. So basically, if the TV is here, I'm facing this way, away from the TV, and I'm looking at my dad, who's sitting on the couch changing the channel. The volume on the TV is all the way down, and I can't see the TV at all because I'm facing away from it. There's no mirrors, there's no reflections, there's no real way that I could tell what was on TV. But as my dad was scrolling through the channels, like, he was scrolling through cartoons, and in my old childhood house, the old cable box we had like categories of cartoons that were all be together, so that they could be like, you could switch the channel to a different cartoon easily for your kid. So he was switching through these cartoons looking for one to put on for me, and as he's clicking through these cartoons, when it gets on the ones that I know, I start singing the theme song for those cartoons, even though I can't see what's on the TV at all. And the volume is all the way down, so I can't hear the audio either. And he's like watching this, like, what is happening? How are you doing that? But he doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to have me know that that's weird, because he wants me to not be freaked out about this. So he just goes and puts on a cartoon, and he tells my mom later this story, and my mom is like, that's weird. It's so crazy looking back on this, because my parents must have thought they were insane, going through all these weird paranormal experiences while raising a child for the first time. It must have been kind of scary. Like, that sounds scary, to be raising a kid for the first time and just have them be like, there's a man in the house, I'm gonna sing the theme song for this show that I don't even know is on. It's like looking back on it, if I was a mom and this was happening, like, to my kid, I would be worried. I would be really worried. But yeah, that's that story. And then after like probably 2 years living in that house, my parents had to move to a new house. And when we moved to this new house, we had to set up our cable again, because we just moved to a new house and you gotta set up cable when you get there, otherwise you don't have TV. So they called over these cable guys to help hook up our boxes, like trying to get everything to the point where it works. And I'm a curious little kid, so I'm following them around, watching them work, just like trying to see what they're doing, because I'm so curious about people working on things. Like, I would always used to follow my dad around while he would work on things too. So I was just following these guys around, like watching what they're doing, trying to see what's going on. One of the cable guys goes to ask me a question. So the cable guy thinks in his head, okay, I want to ask this kid if it's okay that they're outside because I don't want their parents to be worried. So he thinks about asking that, and before he even says anything, I respond, yeah, they said it's okay. Before he even spoke, like, he had only thought this in his head. He had not said anything about it, and immediately I was just like, yeah, they said it's okay. Just completely responded to a thought that he never fully even said. And he was like shocked about this, because obviously he's like, oh shit, kids aren't supposed to do this. And so he was curious if it was just like a one time, like I was just talking to myself or something. So he decided to ask me another question, and I answered that question before he said it as well. And it continued like that for probably like 15 minutes, just like this conversation where he'd think about what he wanted to say and I would answer. And he realized that this was kind of strange, so after he was done hooking up the cable, he went to my dad and he was like, "Hey, your kid is a little bit interesting. She was answering my questions before I even said them. She was like predicting my thoughts." And my dad was like, "Yeah, I believe it, because we got some stuff that happened with my child." like the TV thing. He told him about the TV thing after that. And the guy was like, "Wow, she must have a special gift with like psychic things." I don't know exactly how he worded it, because I've been told this story a few times by my dad and my mom, and it's just really interesting to me that I was able to talk and have a conversation with someone without them even saying what they were going to say. That's honestly so creepy, but like in a good way. Honestly, I find it just super interesting because I love to hear like all these paranormal stories and paranormal experiences, and like even as they continue to happen to me to this day, I just think it's so interesting to like hear about. And I'm definitely going to be doing more videos on this, like as my life goes on, like more videos about my current paranormal experiences, because it goes way beyond childhood. Like you would think things evened out as I got older, but no, they didn't. They are just as weird, if not weirder. So, about a year after my previous experience that I mentioned, I was just sitting on the carpet playing with my toys when my mom walked into my room. She was thinking about asking me if I wanted to go to McDonald's for lunch. She was like, I wonder if we should go to McDonald's for lunch, but I don't want to ask that right now though, because if she hears me mention McDonald's, she's going to want to go to McDonald's. So she's just like thinking this in her head, like, should I ask if she wants to or not? And then before she even says anything, I went, "Yeah, we should go." She didn't even say anything, just, "Yeah, let's go to McDonald's." She told me about this today, and she honestly sounded so freaked out by it even now. It's crazy. Just completely answered her question before she even said it. That's honestly wild. But yeah, very, very interesting. And then I have another experience that also happened while I was living in that house, when my dad took me to the horse races to see the horses, because he liked to bet on the horse races. So he took me there and we got a good spot, and like we were going to watch the horse races, and he got out the little booklet that they give you when you're going to place a bet, because he wanted to bet on the horses. So he wanted me to see what he means by betting on the horses. So he asked me, "Okay, which horse do you think will win?" And then he put that horse as his bet for that race. And he placed his bets before the race started, and then the race happened, and the horse that I picked won the race. And he was like, "Wow, that's crazy. You actually picked the right horse." And then on the next race, he asked me again, "Which horse do you think is going to win this race?" And I told him what horse I thought would win that race. I was just like, "Yeah, this horse. I think this horse will win." And he took the name of that horse, placed the bet, and then that horse won the race. This repeated 4 more times, and one of these times, the horse that I picked was 1 out of 25 odds, which is very bad odds if you know about horse racing. Like very, very, like if a horse has 1 out of 25 odds, you probably don't want to bet on that horse usually. So the guy behind us, because he's watching what my dad's doing, he goes, "Hey, I don't think you should pick that horse, because that horse that horse is not very likely to win. And I'm like, but I want that horse. And my dad goes, just watch. I'll let her pick that horse and you see what happens. And my dad places the bet and the race starts and the horse that has 1 out of 25 odds wins the race. And because of that, because the odds were so low, the amount of money you win based on it is a lot higher. So my dad won, like, I don't even know, like $3,000 from that race. And at this point, the people at the races were getting so suspicious of him because he just won like 6 races in a row. They asked him some questions, but obviously, like, how can you really prove if someone is cheating on a horse race? Like, the bets are placed before the horse's race, so there's not really any way to cheat. And in the car ride home, my mom explained to my dad that, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this because this is obviously like a special thing that she's able to do. And if she's able to do it in the future, we want to save this like thing that she can do for a time when she'll actually need it, like a time where having a psychic experience would be a good thing. So my dad agrees that it's probably a good idea to not do that in the future. And so my parents go home and all is good, like nothing else happens for a while. And then one day, probably like 2 or 3 months later, I want to say, the chronological order on this is kind of like difficult because it happened so long ago. But like 2 or 3 months later, my parents go to get in the car to go to dinner because they were going to go to a restaurant for dinner and they were going to bring me with them. So we go to get in the car, and as my dad is trying to help me get in the car, I just like put my hands like over like the door of the car and the side of the car, and I'm like, no, we can't go. Something bad is gonna happen. And I just stand there like, no, we can't go. As my dad is trying to convince me, okay, we have to get in the car now. And eventually I even started crying. I was probably like 7 years old at the time. And like I was a kid, but for some reason, only on this day, I was so like, we cannot get in this car. Something bad is going to happen. But any other day, like this had never happened before, and it never happened in the future. Just that one day, I told him, if we get in the car, something bad is going to happen. So eventually they listened to me and they decided that they weren't going to go to the place and they were going to eat at home because they were obviously a little concerned that I was so stressed out about this. So they decided to go a different day instead. And when we went on that day, I went just as normal. Like, there was no temper tantrum. There was no, like, being afraid. Just, it was like the first day never happened. It was just that day, for some reason, about my dad's car and about not wanting to go somewhere because something bad was going to happen. And I don't really remember this experience very well. Like, I just remember that I threw a big temper tantrum and then we didn't go. But I don't really remember how I felt during that. But it's very strange looking back on it because I never did that again after that. It was just that one time, and for some reason, it was just like, no, we can't go. And I still, to this day, can't, like, explain why I felt that strongly that day. But I like to believe it was, like, to avoid an accident or something like that. I don't know. But it was very strange. And then, sometime after this, probably, like, maybe a year later, like, there's usually a decent amount of time between these occurrences. This time, I was sitting in bed, like waiting to be put to bed because my mom usually would like read me a story to help me go to sleep. But I was for some reason like staring up at the ceiling and the walls for some reason. And my mom asked, "Why are you doing that? Why are you staring at the ceiling?" And I went, "I can see little wisps of light floating around the room. They look like unicorns." And my mom was obviously like, "Oh, that's nice." Like, she had no idea what to think about this whatsoever. And I don't remember this at all, but she remembers it so clearly. It's crazy to hear my mom say that I said that they were little wisps of light floating around the room and they look like unicorns. That's so weird. Like I was the creepiest kid ever. But yeah, I definitely had my share of very weird experiences when I was younger, and I would like to continue this series to tell my current paranormal experiences. If you want to hear those, consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and I will know that you guys want to see my current paranormal experiences and or my future paranormal experiences that I can tell here in storytime form, for at least the ones that don't happen on camera, because I kind of want to like keep this stuff documented because it's just so interesting to me to be able to look back on this in the future and hear all these stories that I've heard from my parents and from myself and from the things that have happened in this house. Like, these stories weren't even about this house. This house I moved into when I was probably like 13. These stories all happened at my first childhood house and my second house that we all lived in. This house has more paranormal activity than my second house and my first house combined. So it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to talk about. But yeah, I will see you guys next time, and as always, never investigate alone, as it may be dangerous. Bye!